Sometime in March of 2019, I took a trip down to the Texas state capitol in order to talk about red flag laws, and I was going to speak out against them. During that trip, I got into a position where I believe that my gun saved me from a violent encounter. Whether or not it would have been deadly, I don't know, and I'm glad I didn't have to find out. But this is the story of what happened that day. So in March of 2019, the Texas State Capitol was going to have a meeting, a public meeting for people to come and talk about whether or not red flag laws would be something good to implement in Texas. And I, of course, being a Second Amendment advocate, was like, no, that'd be dumb. And this was really like at the height of all of that stuff. And so I figured, okay, I'm going to have to be in Austin for a couple days anyway. I kind of want to take a vacation. So I decided to just book out a week. I went up to Fredericksburg, had some fun up there, went to wine country and all of that stuff. And an important part of this is that I brought my girlfriend at the time. And so it wasn't just me on this trip. She wasn't political. She was just in it for the vacation, obviously. First part trip, no problem. Nothing. Great, beautiful, awesome Texas scenery. Amazing. Then we roll into Austin. And, well, it's Austin. So it's, full of homeless people the second you get into city limits. And, it's not the best place. But, the hotel that I had booked online had 4 out of 5 stars. And I thought, well, that is good. Relatively good. And it wasn't really a cheap hotel either. It was far enough away from the city center that it wasn't wildly expensive, but it was still in city limits and therefore not completely cheap either. And, the pictures online, don't fall for the pictures. The pictures online had to be from when they first opened this place, because it was really good pictures. When we got there, not so good. So, I booked this place thinking it's going to be a nice hotel. Well, when we get there, it's really pretty run down. It's kind of like a Motel 8, Motel 6. Like, it's not that good. It's got one of those, balconies that looks out into the parking lot. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, is it too late to get a refund? And the answer, of course, was yes. But I'm like, oh, great. This is not great. We go to the hotel front desk. We ask for our keys. And on our way up to the second floor, which is where our room was, there is I distinctly remember this. There's a plate of food, half-eaten food, and God only knows how long it's been sitting out, just sitting halfway up the stairs for no apparent reason. It was rice and beans just on a plate, on a styrofoam plate with the fork still on it. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And then a little bit farther up the stairs, there's some trash. And I'm like, lovely place. Great. I'm glad I booked this. So anyway, we walk down the hallway, get to our room. We go into our room. And of course, the AC unit in this room doesn't work. Okay, not fun. Great. And so I'm like, I'm going to have to go ask for a new room because we can't deal with this. You know what I mean? Now, I go to the front desk. They tell me they're all booked up. Sorry. The soonest that they can get us into a new room would be the next day. So we had to suffer for a night with the AC not working. The next day, later on that evening, COVID-19 had just kind of started coming around, and out of abundance of caution, they actually canceled the meeting at the Capitol. And I was a little bit bummed because I'm like, at the time, what? We're canceling it for what? Nobody really knew what was going on, and not to get into that, but essentially the meeting was canceled. So the next day, me and my girlfriend were like, well, okay, we can go do something. Like, we didn't really have plans to do very much in Austin, so we're like, I mean, I guess we can go out and do something. So we go out, we, go around the town, have some fun, whatever. But we expected to be there another day or two. So the meeting's canceled, we go out, we have some fun, and here's where the interaction kind of takes place. Upon returning to our hotel room, there is a man standing in front of our door, banging on it. Dude was probably, I don't know, if I'm guessing, probably like 6'2", okay? And those of you who don't know me, my license says I'm 5'9", but I'm actually 5'7". So I'm kind of like a short guy. Compared to other people, I'm small to like medium-sized height, okay? And so I'm sitting here thinking, like, who is this? Like, is this somebody that we know, or is this just some random person, okay? As we get closer, I can see that this guy seems pretty agitated, and I'm not entirely sure who this person is. Like, I've never seen this person before in my life. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm pretty sure this guy probably just has the wrong room. It's not... it can be annoying, you think you're at the right room and, you're banging on the door and nobody's answering. And it's like, what the heck, So I'm just assuming this guy has the wrong room number. Okay, maybe he thinks he's supposed to be on the second floor and he's supposed to be on the first floor, or he's supposed to be at, 206 and it's 216. Like, who knows, So we're walking up, and mind you, this is before I was a bodyguard and armed guard and all of that. So I don't have quite as many skills as I do now. So we walk up to him, and one thing that I'm learning as I'm remembering this story is I distinctly remember I didn't like put my girlfriend behind me. Like, she just walked up next to me to this stranger, and that was not a good idea. Like, I should have kept her behind me, going towards an unknown possible threat. But to be fair, at the time, I didn't necessarily think this guy was a threat. I thought he just, wrong room. So I walk up to him and I'm like, hey man, like, that's our door. Like, I don't know who you're looking for. Maybe you got the wrong room. But that's our room. And he just kind of stares at me for a second. And I'm like, did he hear me? Or like, what's, why is he just kind of looking at me? And he goes, oh, this is your room. And I'm like, yeah, that's our room. So, like, I don't know if maybe somebody gave you the wrong room number, or if, you just read it wrong. Like, I don't know, man. But that's our room. Whoever you're looking for is not in this room, because that's our room. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he half turns, stops, and then turns back to me, leans forward a little bit, and then he goes, but did you call me a dumbass though? And like, I'm speechless even now, because it's so out of left field. Like, he literally was like, oh, okay, turned to leave, then turns back and accuses me of calling him a dumbass out of nowhere. And in a very quick succession, my mind went, how did he hear that from what I said? I didn't say that. And then immediately after I had that thought, I looked at him, saw a look in his eyes, and I went, oh, I didn't say that. He wants to fight right now. And I don't know why. But that is exactly the moment that it hit you. Like, the eyes are the window to the soul, and hands are windows to the intent. And I'm staring at this guy's face, and his eyes are like, I want to beat the shit out of this guy right now. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I have to say the exact right thing and do the exact right thing now to not get in a fight. Because I don't want to get in a fight. I'm standing in a pretty claustrophobic hallway because it's not that wide. My girlfriend's here, and I really don't want to get in a fight with this guy. Now, this is where I think my gun may have saved me. Because as I'm looking at him, he says that, and I go, in my mind, oh shoot, he wants to fight. How do I get him to back off? Now, at the time, I was open carrying in a Safariland ALS SLS holster. It was my everyday carry. And so I basically just look him straight in the eyes, and then I just move my hand and rest it on my gun. I didn't grab it, I didn't pull it, I didn't do any of that. I simply rested it on my gun, and he looked me up and down, looked back at my eyes, looked at my hip, and then turned around and walked away. And here's where I screwed up again. I turned my back on him to go into my room, right? Luckily, he was, either scared or threatened or warded off enough that he did not pursue trying to do anything. But I should not have turned my back on him. So that was mistake number 2. Luckily, nothing happened. He walks away, and me and my girlfriend go into the room. And I'm like, okay, we can't stay in this room because now he knows where our room is. And I just subtly told him I'm not afraid of him. But let's face it, I'm in a part of town I don't know. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know what his possible intent is. So I'm like, I need to change rooms now. I would have changed rooms if I could have, but at the time, not the most money considering this was the tail end of our vacation and we had just spent a bunch, going and doing stuff. So I'm like, we can't afford a new hotel, but because of the AC unit not working the night before, I was already guaranteed a new unit. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go get the new one. No big deal. So I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, start packing the stuff. We're going to get a new motel unit and we're going to move over there. Okay. So I'm like, this is probably like 10 or 15 minutes later is when I'm going. Cause I wanted to let this guy kind of leave or whatever. So I didn't, run into him again. So I'm like, all right, I'm walking across the upper gantry. The way that this hotel had it, it was like where we were staying was over here. And then there was the second story gantry that looked out to the parking lot this way. And then on this end, there was a staircase that went down, and then the office was over here, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to walk that way. As I'm walking across that upper gantry, that guy that I had just had that interaction with is in the parking lot talking to 2 other guys in a beat up car. And as I'm walking across, all 3 of them stop talking and stare at me the entire way that I walk across it. And I'm like, oh man, this is not good. I need to get a new room now. Okay. So I walk downstairs. I tell the people at the front, I'm like, hey, and honestly, after that, I was like, if they're not going to give me a new room, we're just going to go home. I don't care that I already paid for 2 nights here. We're just going to go home, right? So, luckily, I tell them, hey, you guys told us a new room, and the AC unit's not working. Give us a new room, right? And so, luckily, she's like, oh yeah, somebody just left. Here you go. I'm not kidding you. It was 1 room over and 1 room down, directly diagonal to the current room we were in. And I was like, that's the best you can do. And she's like, yeah, that's the only room that's available right now. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, as long as my girlfriend has everything packed up and we can just pop right over to this room, not a big deal. Because if the guy comes back, he's going to assume we're in that room, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go to my girlfriend. I'm like, all right, grab the shit, take it to the new room. Bam, we take it. Now, as I had walked back down in the parking lot, those guys had left. So I was like, I was feeling a little bit better. I was like, okay, cool. Like, they left. Maybe he talked to those guys and they told him, hey, yeah, that guy's not there anymore. Or whoever he was looking for isn't in that room anymore. Let's go to the new spot. Okay, cool. But still, I'm not going to take any chances. I'm still, changing rooms. Plus, the AC's out. So either way, I was going to change rooms. So we change rooms, all that stuff. And then we decide, all right, let's go have dinner. We go have dinner, come back to the room. It's probably like 10 o'clock at night by the time we get back, right? We settle in for the night, having a good night. We stay up watching some shows. I'm a night owl, okay? I stay up till 1, 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. Sometime around, I want to say 1 to 1:30 in the morning, I hear banging on a door outside of my door that sounded suspiciously like it was 1 to 2 doors away and possibly diagonal from me. Now, I'm not stupid. I didn't open my door to see. I'm not going to do that. That's just inviting trouble. I could only hear what was going on, and it sounded like somebody trying to bust in a door. Very loud knocking and like large thumping sounds. Again, I'm not going to open it. I had the security latch on and everything, and I'm like, nope. But I did make sure that my safe to my gun was open because I had taken a safe with me, one of those like keypad safes, and I was just like, you know what, just in case. So I opened that up, left it open until it sounded like things were clear, and then once I hadn't heard anything for probably like half an hour, 45 minutes. I was like, okay, it's probably all right to go to bed. Close the safe, done. In the morning, I'm like, let's get out of here. Like, we had one more day or whatever. I don't care. Let's go. Let's just get out of here, man. So we packed up and left. And I looked at our previous door, and it didn't look like anybody busted it in or, even dented the door. So again, I'm not entirely sure if it was or was not those guys hitting on that door, if it was somebody else hitting on another door that was next to ours. But it was coming from the direction of the one that we had been in. Whether it was or was not, I don't know. But I firmly believe that just the presence of my openly carried firearm deterred that guy. I can't say whether or not he would have tried to fight me one way or another had I not had it on me, or if that's what in fact did deter him, or perhaps it was the way in which I said, no, I did not call you that. I don't know. I think it was possibly one of those things where he thought that I was an easy mark or easily intimidated or something, because he was pretty tall compared to me. And then once I kind of just looked him dead in the eyes, said no, and then, showcased that I wasn't going to be bullied, then he was like, oh, this isn't going to be as easy as I thought. Screw it. Who knows? But that is one of the stories that I have. I have other smaller stories of times that aren't as bad as this, but are times in my life that I have wished I had a gun, and I either didn't or I did, and I was just glad that I had it, because whatever thing could have happened worse. If you want to hear those stories, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I have a couple of them. But as for this story, let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that it was the gun that deterred him, or was it the way in which I told him no, I didn't say that? Or do you think he came back with those friends later that night, or was I just hearing bumps in the night? I don't know. You tell me. Either way, that encounter solidified in my mind that carrying a gun is pretty necessary in a lot of cases, and that open carrying a firearm can work under certain circumstances. See, I would never carry openly in a scenario like that with like just a friction holster. No, sorry, no. But an active retention holster, yeah. And keep in mind, at the time, I was not a trained bodyguard. I was not ever an armed guard. I didn't have the skills that I have now, and I had rarely practiced concealed carry drawing, so I was faster from a holster and all of that. That is the primary reason. But now I have more skills. I kind of 50-50. I will concealed versus open. It depends on where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, all of that stuff. So drop a comment in the comments down below. Let me know, do you like concealed carry, open carry? I don't know. And let me know what you think about my story. Anyway, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. And as it goes for open carry, I think that our rights are a you use it or you lose it type thing. So if you do not want to lose your rights, make sure to use your rights. And if you want one of these hats with the cool logos, check out WebWestern down below. Use my link for 10% off. Anyway, guys, love all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.